I have consistently been telling you all, right? There is no need for multiple even layer ones, let alone layer twos or layer threes, okay? And in the words of Mikkel himself, right? Something I've been trying to tell you all. This is something that Solana and Ethereum simply got wrong, guys. This is the reason that the XRPL has exceeded expectations. This is why some other layer ones, right, are now playing catch up to where XRPL is.
With the understanding that we're not going to be in a Bitcoin only world, right? Fiat currencies are going to become tokenized, and that's exactly what the XRP ledger was built for. So everything we're watching right now is proof Ripple has been right from the start, right? Stablecoins are going to exist. Governments are not going to go away. They're going to regulate this stuff. This is always how Ripple saw the future, and that's why the XRP ledger was designed the way it was. It was for these regulations coming in and allowing things like stablecoins or issued assets to prosper. Like I said before, the XRP ledger was created for these issued assets. Now, you're probably also wondering, well, there's a lot of different blockchains out there, right? You have Bitcoin and Ethereum, both ahead of XRP in terms of market cap. I want to share with you something else extremely interesting. Earlier today, we actually had one of the creators of Solana coming out and pointing out something very interesting. And that's the fact that most likely you are not going to need chains to have infinite smart contracts. Solana does have infinite smart contracts, so does Ethereum. Let me read what he said and let me break it down. It's pretty technical. Seems logical, but it's also wrong. There is no point to multiple L2s. If a single L2 can handle parallel execution, then it can use up all the blob space and run every use case. What's more is that there aren't infinite useful smart contracts, let alone execution environments. There are only like 6 smart contracts that really matter. There just isn't infinite need for infinite developer opportunity. In fact, any developer opportunity or optionality that increases business risk is actually a net negative, like the ERC20 interface. Now, what's super interesting about this is this goes to confirm another thing that Ripple and the XRP ledger have been saying forever. You don't need to have full smart contracts on a chain because ultimately that's really just for testing. That's only for saying, okay, well, we don't really know what the good smart contracts are, so let's build a whole bunch and see which one wins. Yes, it's useful to be able to do that, but that's something that should be done in a test environment, not a main chain. The XRP ledger is one of the few blockchains that said, we're not going to jam a million smart contracts into this thing right off the bat. Let's figure out which smart contracts are important, like a smart contract for a DEX. Let's figure out which smart contracts go away. Let's figure out which smart contracts need to be implemented, which ones don't. Let's not make it so infinite amount of smart contracts can be implemented on a chain, clogging up everything and killing its utility. Ethereum and Solana have already gone down that path. They've already made the wrong choice. They added infinite amounts of smart contracts to be issued on the chain, clogging everything up, making it so that the chain likely is not ready for a production level environment. Large financial institutions don't want to have the risk of accidentally interacting with a malicious smart contract. It doesn't make any sense for them to take that risk. This is just another thing that the people behind the XRP ledger got right from the very early days that is going to make it one of the primary places financial institutions want to interact with things like these stablecoins. So Bitcoin